Have you ever told a story and had to explain that something had happened before something else? For example, when I arrived at the party, everyone had already left.
Cuando llegué a la fiesta, ya se habían ido todos.
Or she had already seen the movie, so she didn't want to watch it again.
Ella ya había visto la película, así que no quería volver a verla.
In English, we use the past perfect tense to talk about something that happened before another past event. And in Spanish, we use it for the exact same reason. In our first video on compound tenses, remember a compound tense is when you conjugate haber into a specific tense and then add a past participle. While we saw that the present perfect tense expresses I have done, today we'll go over the past perfect tense, which expresses I had done.
And in this lesson, we'll see when and how to use it with a ton of real-life examples so you can improve your Spanish. So let's get started.
Okay, so we've already stated that the main reason that we use the past perfect tense in Spanish is to describe an action that happened before another past event. For example, when I got to the airport, my flight had already departed.
Cuando llegué al aeropuerto, mi vuelo ya había salido.
So first, there was a past event, the flight departed, and that's where we use the past perfect tense. And then another action happened afterwards, I arrived. Let's see another example. When I tasted the soup, I realized I had added too much salt.
Cuando probé la sopa, me di cuenta de que había agregado demasiada sal.
So first, there was a past event, I had added too much salt, and then there was an action afterwards when I tried it. Now, although this is the main reason to use the past perfect tense, we can also use it to explain causes or reasons for something in the past. For example, he was tired because he hadn't slept well the night before.
Él estaba cansado porque no había dormido bien anoche. We can also use it for reported speech. For example,
I told him that I had already visited that city.
Le dije que ya había visitado esa ciudad.
And we can also use the past perfect with ya and todavía no when we want to clarify sequences. For example, by the time I woke up, my parents had already left for work.
Cuando me desperté, mis padres ya se habían ido al trabajo. To form the past perfect tense in Spanish, we need to conjugate haber in the imperfect past tense and then add the past participle. So we get yo había, tú habías, él, ella o usted había, nosotros, nosotras habíamos, vosotros, vosotras habíais, ellos, ellas o ustedes habían. And remember, to form regular past participles, for AR verbs, we remove the AR and we add ado, like hablar, hablado. For ER and IR verbs, we remove the ER or the IR and we add ido, like comer, comido, or vivir, vivido.
Okay, now let's see them both, haber and the past participle, together with an AR, ER, and IR verb. So, for example, I had bought.
Había comprado.
We had not understood.
Nosotros no habíamos entendido.
You had defined.
Tú habías definido.
Now, of course, Spanish wouldn't be Spanish without our irregular verbs that don't follow the regular pattern. So whenever you're first learning compound tenses, be sure to check if the past participle you want to use is regular or irregular. Here's the list of the most common ones. And here you can see, for example, just with this first one, that abrir is not abrido, but abierto. And we just have to learn these, but fortunately there aren't too many, so it's not so bad. Here, you can pause the video if you'd like to write them down. So you could see something like, I had written a letter.
Yo había escrito una carta.
Or, they had already seen the documentary.
Ellos ya habían visto el documental.
Now, let's get into what you must know about the past perfect tense.
The auxiliary verb haber and the past participle are never separated.
That's right, they always go together. Even if the main verb is reflexive, the reflexive pronoun is placed before the auxiliary verb haber. So for example, I had shaved, me había afeitado. Or had you gotten sick last month?
¿Te habías enfermado el mes pasado?
See how we never separate haber from the past participle?
This also applies when using direct and indirect object pronouns. For example, we had resolved it. Lo habíamos resuelto.
Or you had watered the plant.
Le habías puesto agua a la planta. You can see haber and the past participle always stay together.
Now, to make a sentence negative, you just place a no before the conjugated form of haber. So if you had something like, you had slept well, tú habías dormido bien, would change to, you hadn't slept well, tú no habías dormido bien. And if you have a pronoun in the sentence, the no will go before that. So for example, we hadn't resolved it would be no lo habíamos resuelto. Easy.
Okay, before we get into all our other examples, we want to thank our supporters and members. Your support helps us create lessons like this to improve your Spanish.
Yeah, if you'd like to become a member, we have all of the links in the description of this video. We have links to Patreon memberships, to YouTube memberships, and to buy me a coffee. So it's really easy to sign up or donate and help out our channel. And if you're enjoying this video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you still haven't, and share this video so that we can reach more and more Spanish students just like you. Okay, now let's practice. Let's see if you can answer all of these correctly.
We'll say each example first in English and then in Spanish.
Okay, number one. When I arrived at the supermarket, they had already closed.
Cuando llegué al supermercado, ya habían cerrado.
My grandfather had already paid the bill before I offered to pay.
Mi abuelo ya había pagado la cuenta antes de que yo ofreciera pagar.
I still hadn't finished the updates when my boss asked for them.
Todavía no había terminado las actualizaciones cuando mi jefe las pidió.
My cousin told me that they had given our room to someone else.
Mi primo me dijo que le habían dado nuestra habitación a otra persona.
The farmer was angry because the carrots had not grown.
El granjero estaba enojado porque las zanahorias no habían crecido.
I had never tried sushi before visiting Japan.
Nunca había probado sushi antes de visitar Japón.
By the time Sophia arrived at the concert, the band had already played her favorite song.
Cuando Sofía llegó al concierto, la banda ya había tocado su canción favorita.
I needed the book again, but the library had already lent it to Juan.
Necesitaba el libro otra vez, pero la biblioteca ya se lo había prestado a Juan.
When Mario woke up, his friends had already left.
Cuando Mario se despertó, sus amigos ya se habían ido.
They wanted to decorate the house with plants, but they still hadn't bought pots.
Ellos querían decorar la casa con plantas, pero todavía no habían comprado macetas.
And that's it. Give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you still haven't so you don't miss any more lessons like this.
Now watch this video to keep improving your Spanish.
Until next time.